I'm Brad Stubbe, Sheriff of Manatee County. Welcome to Sheriff's Patrol.
And I'm Dave Bristow. Coming up on Sheriff's Patrol, we'll have some valuable information on income tax fraud, and you'll get an up-close look at our mounted patrol unit. But first on Sheriff's Patrol, we recently held MSO's annual awards banquet to name the Deputy of the Year, as well as several other awards, including the Bell's Humanitarian of the Year.
We have the pleasure again in recognizing the Humanitarian of the Year. Each year that we do this, we see some amazing examples of individuals that go above and beyond to help those in need. In many of these cases, these individuals serve through their personal contributions and sacrifices. What is most noticeable about the true humanitarians, in my mind, it's their motivation. These folks never do this for the recognition, and in fact, in most cases, in all cases, it's never to be self-serving. When you look at these folks, in a lot of cases, they never want the recognition either. Before I read the nomination, I want to take just a few minutes. Obviously, we see who the nominees are, and in all cases, they're deserving. This individual that was selected, their story is very inspiring. For those of you that know the recipient, you will agree. This individual serves a need that is so critical to so many young lives. This individual gives hope where it is so needed. First, I want to extend my appreciation in advance for what this individual does. So I'd like to go ahead and read the nomination. You are recognized as a survivor who has become a champion for children who are victimized by sexual abuse and exploitation. Through many years of struggle and seasons of pain, you have found triumph in a career to ensure that the most vulnerable young children are given a voice with the law as their backup. Your work has a focused purpose, and your determination is an inspiration. You have been instrumental in getting the bad guy in numerous high-profile cases out of the community. In addition, you are active in our community, showing courage as you share your story to provide hope and healing to others. You have appeared on television programs in the Christian Television Network and attended public events including Kiwanis, Manatee Glens, Victim Rights, Candlelight Vigil, and the Florida Department of Children and Family Protection Summit. You authored a book, The Boy Who Never Cried Wolf, which reveals your motivation to work in the field of child protection. Your ability to look beyond your own personal horrors of the past and set your heart to serve the well-being of our children proves you are worthy to be named the Bell's Humanitarian for 2013. Please join me in congratulating Detective James Wisher.
I'm a crimes against children detective at the Sheriff's Office, but I'm also a survivor of 10 years with a child predator when I was beginning at age 4 to about age 14. So I know a lot about how those bad guys operate in and amongst the community. I've written a book about my life and have been out in the community talking about my story, and basically I guess after I came to Crimes Against Children, I learned the scope and the numbers, how many victims and predators there are out there. And so I decided to write my story because I survived. I came through it, and most don't. And so I wanted to get out in the community and tell people that there's hope. It doesn't have to own your future. You can be free from it.
All right, our next award is the Robert Moulter Volunteer of the Year.
Since volunteering is the essence of the Robert E. Moulter Award, I'd like to share a quote from an unknown author that captures the spirit of volunteering. Volunteering is the ultimate exercise in democracy. You vote in elections once a year, but when you volunteer, you vote every day about the kind of community that you want to live in. The award letter reads, being successful in track and field during your own high school years, specializing in throw events such as the discus, shot put, and javelin, and then 8 years as a coach before moving to Florida, you became aware of the need for a coach at Manatee High School and volunteered to fill in. Since then, you have touched the lives of many students. For the past 3 track and field seasons, you have attended practices during the week and on some Saturdays, and all of the meets amounting to over 100 hours per season. You not only provide your own transportation and pay expenses, but you also help parents and athletes to attend the events. Under your guidance, Protégé have progressed to the state finals and received college scholarships. You are a positive role model for the student athletes, using sports as a common ground to communicate and influence them towards high moral character and good conduct. You represent MSO well, and you demonstrate that law enforcement officers are active in our community. For your work that honors the memory of Mr. Robert Moulter and reflects his ideals, you are named the 2013 Volunteer of the Year. Please help me congratulate Deputy Thomas Beckerleg.
I've spent quite a few hours after practice trying to make sure kids are going down the right direction. When you see something, making sure that they're provided the proper guidance, because some don't have much guidance from home, so I try to do as much as I can to make sure that they're, try to push how important going to college is, how important their grades are, and just living life properly and not getting yourself into trouble as you go forward.
And what was interesting about Thomas, he really was surprised because he didn't get noticed of being at the meeting.
Yeah, they're both great guys, and what great work they do here.
Yeah, and Jim Wisher, I've read his book. It's very compelling, and the fact that he's actually now working in this area is really, it's a benefit to us and the community.
And the thing about both of them, they so much enjoy what they're doing away from the sheriff's office, and it's such an important part of the community too.
It's all about not only serving the community, but we have a number of employees, as you know, that continue that service on their own time.
Now it's time for the Sheriff's Office Employee and Deputy of the Year. The winners are selected from the 12 deputies and employees of the month. First, we'll have the Employee of the Year.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, these are 2013 Employees of the Month. Although all these nominees are standing before you are certainly deserving of Employee of the Year, there's one that stands out above all others, and I would like to invite the 2013 Employee of the Year to please step forward, Mr. Christopher Foy. Congratulations. If the rest of you would have a seat, that'd be great. Thank you. Thank you for your service. On June 22nd of 2013, you and your brother were fishing from the seawalls in Big Pass, Sarasota, when you heard a subject screaming for help. You scanned the area, noticed a suspect, I'm so used to saying a suspect, my apologies. A subject caught in the swift outgoing current and visibly in distress. Disregarding your own safety, you dove into the water in an attempt to rescue the subject while your brother went to summons for help. Once you reached the subject, you learned that he had been a victim of a jet ski accident and that he had suffered a fractured femur. You swam to the nearest safe location, a rock jetty, and continued to keep the subject's head above water while using your body to shield him from the waves. As a law enforcement and EMS arrived, they were unable to get close enough to the subject, so they got to the rocks and were able to lower a backboard down to you to support for the subject. EMS then instructed you and your brother how to secure the victim, and the subject was then hoisted to safety to be treated for his injuries. The outcome of this incident would have not been the same if not for your selflessness, courage, and quick action. For your rapid and vital response, you were named the 2013 Employee of the Year. Congratulations.
Well, I didn't even think twice. When I saw him, I jumped in. I went out to him and asked him, what had happened, and he told me that he had a broken leg at the time, but to come to find out it was a fractured femur. But it felt great knowing that he was going to make it.
And Dave, as you know, Chris is the son of one of our longtime employees, Ned Foy.
Yeah, and Ned was the Deputy of the Year while he was at the Sheriff's Office. Another thing I want to pass along is that Chris has been certified. Now, obviously, when he won this award, he was an employee and wasn't certified. Now he's certified. And I want him to let everyone know because they were probably a little bit confused when they saw him up there in a uniform and his service revolver and everything.
And now he has an opportunity to get another award now in the certified ranks.
That's right. He said he's going to beat out his dad. He'll be Employee of the Year, and he hopes down the road maybe to be Deputy of the Year. And mentioning that, now it's time for the big announcement, our Deputy of the Year.
Again, although all these nominees are certainly deserving of Deputy of the Year, in most cases, these nominations were for selfless acts of life-saving and heroic efforts. But what I'd like to do now is I would like to call the 2013 Deputy of the Year to step forward, Deputy Joseph Scott. Congratulations. On April 17th of 2013, you were off duty at a swimming pool with your neighbors, some of which were children. At some point, someone asked about the whereabouts of one of the children, and you immediately found the child floating face down and unresponsive in a pool. You pulled the child from the pool and began CPR until she regained consciousness. Emergency medical personnel arrived, and the child was transported to the hospital and is expected to make and has made a full recovery. For your quick actions, you saved a child's life, for which you are named 2013 Deputy of the Year. Congratulations.
When I did CPR on this little girl, I felt like I wasn't in my own body. It felt so automatic from what I learned in training, and I give them all the credit, is that CPR class that I took in training just took over. And I was determined to save this girl. I mean, I was so determined. And I get a little broken up when I think about it, I'm sorry. And it worked. I couldn't believe it.
We know Joseph looks a little emotional, but that's okay because this is quite an honor for him, and I'm very proud of him and all of the others that participate in this.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Congratulations to all of our winners. First, the Bells Humanitarian of the Year, Jim Wisher, Robert Moulter, Volunteer of the Year, Thomas Beckerleg, our Employee of the Year, Christopher Foy, and of course, our Deputy of the Year, Joseph Scott. We'll be back with more Sheriff's Patrol right after this.
Just last year, the IRS paid out over $3 billion in fake tax refunds.
We must protect our children. Know what your child is doing online and help us delete these predators.
When he was little, I worried he'd have no friends. Then I worried that his loser friends would give him alcohol or pot, or worse, cocaine or drugs with needles. I never thought that what would kill him would come from my own medicine cabinet. Why didn't I do something?
If only everyone would take a moment to lock your car, we could drastically reduce vehicle burglaries.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sheriff's Patrol. Along with Manatee County Sheriff Brad Stubbe, I'm Dave Bristow. We have several promotions to pass along. Juan Avilas, Matthew Bates, and Charles Georgian have been promoted to first-class deputies, and Robert Spurlock is our newest sergeant. In years of service, Barb Moore hit the 20-year mark, while Michelle Griffin has been with MSO for 25 years. 3 retirements to report: Gloria Reedy, Barb Savoy, and Detective Harold, better known as Dan Hutto. Sheriff Dan Hutto did an outstanding job over the years with Crime Stoppers. He'll be missed.
Well, and he was our liaison between all of the law enforcement agencies in Manatee County and the information that comes into Crime Stoppers. He has been the go-to guy in that area.
Well, believe it or not, it's time to start thinking about getting your taxes ready, but we want you to be aware that in the last several years, we've seen an increase in tax-related scams. Let's get more on it from our Crime Prevention Unit.
Hi, I'm Deputy Yvonne Daniels. Did you know that identity theft is the fastest growing financial crime within the United States? Just last year, the IRS paid out over $3 billion in fake tax refunds. You don't want that to happen to you. First, never give out your Social Security number to anyone unless you have a very good reason for doing so. Remember, guys, your Social Security number is valuable and it's often the key piece of information that's needed to get your tax refund. Second, if you choose to let someone else prepare your taxes, make sure you do your research. Make sure that person is a reputable tax preparer, someone that you trust. Some thieves have falsely identified themselves as tax professionals. And last, if you're entitled to a refund this year, you might want to consider getting the direct deposit instead of traditionally getting a check in the mail. Oftentimes you get your money back faster and you don't have to worry about the hassle of someone stealing your check in the mail. Let's recap. Safeguard your Social Security number. Use a reputable person to prepare your taxes, and if you're due to have a refund this year, consider using direct deposit to claim your refund. If you have any further questions, please contact us here in the Crime Prevention Unit. Our number here is 747-3011, extension 2500, or you can also contact us on the web, manateesheriff.com. Again, I'm Deputy Yvonne Daniels, and always think safety first.
Yvonne, it's good to see you in crime prevention. You represent the Sheriff's Office well all of these years, and now you are out there speaking directly for me and the agency. And this is a huge issue. Someone were to get your Social Security number.
And it's that time of year. Everybody's going to be filing their taxes, and to some, they're going to be surprised when they start to file. They're going to get notice back from the IRS that you've already filed, and you know you haven't. So just pay attention to what's going on out there. And sometimes there's not a whole lot you can do about it, but there are some preventative measures that people need to do.
Absolutely.
Sheriff, we do offer numerous preventative programs at the Sheriff's Office, including one to help teenagers when they begin driving. It's called the Teen Drivers Challenge.
Teen Driver Challenge is a great challenge for students in high school to come out and learn the skills on how to drive safely on the roads.
We actually use most of these skills in the police academy setting, and they're doing the same thing.
The skills are the same, the courses are the same. It's just a matter of getting the students to the level that they feel comfortable with to drive their car safely.
My parents and I agreed that it'd be good for me in case anything happened on the road and anything that came out of my control that I could prevent it somehow.
Drive safe, pay attention.
We start out in the classroom. There's a 4-hour portion of the classroom where they're showed videos and PowerPoints, and we explain the different courses and how we're going to operate that particular day for driving. Then on Saturday, we have a full day of different events, from braking, cornering, and then we work our way into figure eights and skills on sliding and recovering.
We teach them about checking the oil, transmission fluids, belts, battery, tires, all the stuff they should know how to do so they don't depend on mom and dad to do it, and they keep the car in good mechanical condition.
The first event they do is a figure eight, and it looks exactly like when you're driving a vehicle that you're making the number 8.
And that's steering, basically for steering and control of the vehicle, getting them confident with it.
It creates the students the distance to be able to determine when they should have their pivot point and correctly make their turn.
Then we do threshold braking, so like for if someone comes out, dog, cat, whatever, person, another car, they know how to brake properly. And then we do the serpentine, which We do it both forward and reverse.
This teaches the students how to maneuver the car to get what we call a roll effect from right to left. The car will shift and it will pivot exactly around the mirror, well, they'll go around cones to the right and to the left forward and make a complete stop. Control the car, turn around and do that course 4 times.
Can you see that double stack of cones?
Yeah.
The next course will be our reverse serpentine, where the students back up and learn how to use their right and their left mirror as well as their rear window to look at the cones and to judge them, looking at their pivot points and doing the entire course backwards. Then we're going to do what is called emergency backing, where they're in a forward position, they make a right-hand turn and have to quickly back into a lane and park. And they'll finish on the skid pad, where they learn how to get into a vehicle that has skid tires that will force the car to go into a skid.
You're supposed to be controlling when you go around the turn. Once the skid starts, you want to control it, keep fighting it off until you feel the pause.
At 15 miles per hour, the back end will begin to break loose, where the students have to counter steer in the direction of the skid to control the skid by getting off of the accelerator and relying on their skills to steer out of the skid.
You just want to make sure you get out of the skid and drive safely.
To let them know what their vehicle will and won't do, especially like threshold braking teaches them, when they press on the brakes, it takes a little while to get that vehicle stopped, and why it's important to know that A, your car is in good working condition, and B, what it will do. Because we have them bring out the cars that they're going to be driving at home more times than not, so they get comfortable with it.
There's a lot of people that die from car accidents, and it's a lot of from texting and stuff.
We really want to reach the students of Manatee County. It's an opportunity for your kids to learn a lot more than what they're learning in the classroom. They actually get to see and do the same things as law enforcement recruits and hirees from the Manatee County Sheriff's Department, as well as they get a discount of 10% on their insurance. So it's a great incentive for students to come and be a part of the community, get to know their officers, and learn some great skills in driving.
I recommend this to anybody who's a young driver and is not experienced.
Yeah, if you sign up for this class, you'll learn how to drive better. So you should sign up for it.
Well, there really isn't anything more important than making sure that our new drivers are doing things correctly. And this was a program that was begun by the Florida Sheriff's Association a number of years ago that we immediately participated in.
And it has caught on all over the state. A lot of agencies participating in it. Just check out our website, manateesheriff.com, for dates and times of the next Teen Drivers Challenge. We'll be back with more Sheriff's Patrol right after this.
When you're on the back of a horse, you can see over top of a lot of things. You can see over cars, over people. Not only can the officer or the deputy see things that they wouldn't be able to see from the patrol car, but the crowd themselves can see the deputy from quite a distance off.
And I had no clue that Brett and Josh didn't have their seatbelts on.
Tonight, a tragic end to the year for students at Lakewood Ranch High School in Mayaca City.
Felt like we flipped maybe 15 times.
Click your seatbelt. In those seconds that it takes to do that will save your life.
I believe if they would have been wearing their seatbelts, they'd still be here. They'd have bumps and bruises, maybe some broken bones, but they'd be here.
Red 78, watch 32, watch 32. Go!
You wouldn't text while playing football. You wouldn't text while cheerleading. So why in the world do you think you can text while driving?
Welcome back, everyone, to Sheriff's Patrol. MSO's Mounted Patrol Unit was extremely busy over the holidays patrolling area shopping centers, including the Outlet Mall in Ellington.
The Mounted Patrol Unit is made up of all certified deputies. They're all sworn law enforcement, And basically what they're doing is performing law enforcement functions off of the back of a horse. Probably the biggest benefit is the field of view. You know, when you're on the back of a horse, you can see over top of a lot of things. You can see over cars, over people. Not only can the officer or the deputy see things that they wouldn't be able to see from a patrol car, but the crowd themselves can see the deputy from quite a distance off. It's very easy to maneuver a horse through a parking lot. You can pass between parked cars. If traffic is stopped, you can ride the horse in between cars. So you're not limited to as fast as traffic is moving. The other thing is, on horseback, you're very approachable by the citizens of Manatee County. You know, everybody wants to come up. They want to see the horse. They want to talk to you. A lot of times, if a deputy's just driving through, the public may not have an interest of stopping a deputy and talk to him. They're not going to give you information. Whereas if we're on horseback, they want to come see us. They want to see the horse. They want to pet the horse. It's amazing how many people have never seen a horse live. We could be in a saddle for, say, 6-8 hours, and it's not uncommon for us to have hundreds of citizen contacts. Because we're approachable, you know, going with the community-oriented policing, people come up, they tell us if they see something unusual. It's not uncommon for someone to tell us they saw a car with a car door open. You know, somebody forgot to close their trunk, or there's a purse that was left on top of a car roof. A lot of times, again, if you're dealing with a deputy that's in a patrol car, they may not be able to catch that patrol car. They may not be able to stop the deputy to talk to them. We're visible from a long way off. So, you know, if you have the potential burglar that wants to break into cars, come into the parking lot, if they see us, more than likely they're going to leave. They're not even going to get started. Large events such as the Heritage Parade, the Rivonia Mardi Gras, you'll see the Mounted Patrol team out there along with the SRT team. And between the two, you know, it's what we call crowd management. There's a lot we can accomplish, whether we need to contain a crowd, whether we need to move a crowd, whether we need to get through the crowd. If you see a horse coming, you're generally gonna move. Because of their size and their strength, they're able to push things. They have the stamina to go all day, they have the strength to do what's needed, and they're an intelligent animal. You know, it's a whole nother set of eyes, ears, and nose that the deputy can use to his advantage.
You know, we talk about the kids loving the horses, but, you know, the adults like to see the horses out there as well. And our Mounted Patrol, they do a lot here at the Sheriff's Office. It's not just only during the holiday season, but we're out on the beaches during all of the holidays. So they're pretty cool at what they do.
Yeah, and if you didn't get a chance to see the horses over the holidays, of course, one of the next big events coming up for Mounted Patrol will be the DeSoto Parade, and of course, that's in April. Finally, on Sheriff's Patrol, we leave you with some sights and sounds from the annual Flight to the North Pole. The event is held for terminally ill children in our community. The children receive gifts, have lunch, and of course, get a visit from Santa Claus.
Well, and the flight to the North Pole, as a lot of people know, began back in 1985 with Eastern Airlines. It was quickly picked up by the Sheriff's Office, and then we also had participation from a number of businesses in the community, the airport. It's a great thing.
Yeah, just the smiles on all the children's faces, and we do it every year. And, you know, we raise money, so if you want to become involved, again, just go to our website and you can do that. That'll do it for Sheriff's Patrol. Remember, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and you can do all that just by going to our website, manateesheriff.com. For Sheriff Brad Stubbe, I'm Dave Bristow. So long, everyone.